The storm was merciless that night. Wind howled through the empty streets like a wounded beast, carrying with it the sharp scent of rain and regret. In the back seat of a broken-down car, a woman wrapped her coat around two small children, pulling them close to her chest. Their soft breaths fogged the cracked glass, their tiny fingers clutching her sleeves as if afraid she might disappear. Her name was Lila Hart, once the fiancée of the man who owned half the city, Ethan Vale, the billionaire everyone admired but few really knew. 6 years had passed since his family had driven her away, their threats louder than her heart's courage. And now fate had brought her back to his doorstep, uninvited, unseen, and desperate. Her phone screen flickered with one last bar of battery. She typed a message meant for her old friend, begging for a place to stay. But trembling fingers and frozen hands betrayed her, sending the message instead to Ethan. Miles away, in a glass tower glowing against the dark skyline, Ethan's phone buzzed. One glance at the name froze him in place. His heart skipped. Lila. The message read, "Please, just one night." The twins are cold. His world stopped. For 6 years he'd built walls of pride and power, but now, one message was all it took to shatter them. Rain lashed against the windshield as Ethan's car sped through the sleeping city. His driver offered to slow down, but one glance at Ethan's face silenced any question. The location pinned in the message led him to the outskirts, where the lights of the city gave way to silence and shadows. When he finally stopped, he saw her, standing by a rusted car, holding two shivering children beneath a flickering streetlight. For a moment he couldn't breathe. Time had not erased her from his memory. Her hair was damp, her face pale, but her eyes, those eyes still carried the warmth that had once made him believe in forever. Lila looked up, startled as headlights washed over her. When she saw him step out, disbelief filled her gaze. "Ethan!" Her voice trembled, a mix of fear and exhaustion. The twins stirred in her arms, their faces hidden in her coat. He took a slow step forward. "You shouldn't be out here." His tone was calm, but his heart was pounding. She turned slightly away. "We'll manage, just go." He saw her stubbornness, the same pride that had once matched his own. "Not tonight," he said quietly. "Get in the car." When she hesitated, one of the twins coughed weakly. That sound broke the wall between them. Lila finally nodded, her eyes glistening. As they drove away, the reflection of the streetlight faded in the rear-view mirror, just like the past they had both tried to forget. The car rolled to a stop before a towering glass mansion that shimmered under the storm's dying light. Lila's breath caught as she stepped inside. The warmth hit her instantly, almost painfully after hours of biting cold. Her children clung to her legs, wide-eyed at the golden chandeliers and velvet curtains. Ethan gave quiet instructions to the housekeeper, his voice low, firm, yet strangely gentle. "Prepare the guest room. Make sure it's warm enough." Lila's instinct told her to refuse, to leave before her pride drowned in gratitude. But her children's trembling made the choice for her. When the twins were finally settled on the couch with steaming cups of cocoa, Lila stood by the window staring at the rain streaking down the glass. Ethan joined her silently, his reflection beside hers. "You could have called anyone else," he said softly. "It was a mistake," she whispered. "Maybe not," he replied. Their eyes met, 6 years of silence condensed into one fragile heartbeat. She turned away quickly. "We'll leave in the morning." "You'll stay until the storm passes," he insisted. For the first time in years, she didn't argue. In that quiet moment, with the twins asleep and thunder fading in the distance, Ethan realized the storm outside wasn't the only one breaking tonight. The first light of dawn slipped through the tall windows, painting the marble floors in gold. Lila awoke on the couch, a blanket draped over her shoulders that she hadn't placed there herself. Her twins were curled up beside her, sleeping soundly for the first time in days. She looked around. The house was silent except for the faint sound of coffee brewing in the kitchen. Ethan stood there, sleeves rolled up, hair slightly messy, stirring sugar into 2 mugs. For a moment, she almost forgot the years of pain between them. "Breakfast is ready," he said without turning, his tone calm but careful. The smell of toast and eggs filled the air. The twins woke up, their small faces brightening as they saw the food. Ethan smiled faintly and handed them plates. Lila hesitated, her pride wrestling with gratitude, but hunger and exhaustion won. As she sat down, she noticed how Ethan watched the children, not with confusion, but with something deeper, something he didn't yet dare to name. When one of the twins laughed, Ethan's hand froze mid-air. The sound was familiar, hauntingly so. Lila saw it too. "Don't," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Please just let this morning be simple." But nothing about it was simple. Ethan's gaze lingered on the twins, his chest tightening with a question he couldn't yet ask. Deep inside, he already feared he knew the truth. The day passed in slow silence. Ethan buried himself in work calls, but his mind wasn't in the numbers or the contracts. It was still replaying the sound of that small laugh, the tilt of the boy's smile that mirrored his own childhood photographs. By evening, the snow had stopped, leaving the city covered in a pale, glassy calm. Lila folded the twins' clothes on the sofa, preparing to leave before the sun went down. "We'll go tonight," she said quietly, as if convincing herself. But Ethan stepped into the room before she could move. "You can't take them out there again," he said, voice low. "They're not your responsibility," she replied, avoiding his eyes. He took a slow breath, then asked what had been burning in his chest all day. "Lila, are they mine?" The question hung in the air like thunder that refused to break. Lila's hands froze mid-fold. Her heart raced, her throat tightening. "Don't do this," she whispered. "Not now." Ethan stepped closer, his tone softer. "I just need the truth." Tears glimmered in her eyes as she met his gaze. "Yes," she finally said, her voice barely audible. "They're yours." Silence swallowed the room. Ethan exhaled shakily, torn between fury and wonder. He looked at the twins again, his twins, and for the first time, the empire he'd built felt small compared to the life he had almost lost forever. Ethan stood still, unable to speak, his world shifting beneath his feet. 6 years of silence, and suddenly everything made sense. The unanswered letters, her sudden disappearance, the emptiness he could never explain. "Why didn't you tell me?" he finally asked, his voice breaking through the quiet. Lila wiped her tears and whispered, "Because I wanted them safe. Your family made it clear I was never welcome. They would have taken them away from me." Her words struck him harder than any storm. He stepped closer, his tone shaking. "You think I would have allowed that?" She met his eyes, her pain raw and real. "You wouldn't have had a choice, Ethan. Back then, you were theirs. Not mine." For a long moment, neither spoke. The twins' soft breathing filled the space, reminding them what truly mattered. Ethan knelt beside the couch, brushing a stray curl from his daughter's forehead. They're beautiful, he said softly. They deserve both of us. Lila hesitated, fear flickering behind her calm. I don't know if I can trust you again. He took a deep breath. Then let me earn it. Not as a billionaire, as their father. The words carried warmth she hadn't felt in years. Outside, snowflakes began to fall again, gentle this time, like a promise that the past could finally melt away, and love, once lost, could find its way home.